These 5 habits lost me 60 pounds forever, and it only takes 2 minutes to complete these tiny atomic habits, and also made the big difference between constantly gaining and losing the same weight over and over again compared to just losing the weight once and for good. And these unhealthy habits were me snacking all day in the evening, just binge eating, or I was just ordering takeouts compared to just keep not making the homemade foods. And I was also just feeling very good working out, doing cardio throughout the week, and in the weekend I was just binge eating, losing all control, and drinking. So I just was so scared to weigh myself, for example, Monday morning, because I just felt like I was just screwing everything up, and I just lost the motivation. I did not feel like I wanted to keep doing it, and fell off for weeks and months. These 5 habits are how I applied these principles from New York best-selling James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits, and he uses a lot of scientific evidence-based method from psychology, how to break free from bad habits to making new and good ones. The first habit is something that is called goal-based thinking, which means that you have to create goals that are easy to maintain. So what that basically means is that if you have lost a lot of weight, what are you then doing to keep it off? So most people are just thinking that they need to totally give up on their favorite foods like pizza, bread, pasta, or snacks, for example. So what you should be doing is that, let's imagine that if you are your maintenance calories at the beginning of your weight loss journey and you're trying to lose weight, you of course need to subtract 300 or 500 calories to be in a calorie deficit. You will lose weight no matter what, but you want to lose all the fat but not the muscle. So you have 45% of your daily calories come from protein, 40% of your daily calories coming from carbs to get a lot of energy, and the rest is just fat. So you're also focusing on strength training 4 or 5 times a week in the gym to build muscle to accelerate your fat loss. You're doing cardio 4 times a week on a stationary bike, 120, 150 intensity heart rate, because you want to accelerate your fat loss by speeding up how many calories you're burning, and then 6,000 steps you're counting on a step app. And then you follow that method with weighing yourself on an empty stomach without any clothes Monday morning, and you take progress pictures front, side, and back, and you also take measuring pictures, like measuring tape from your body, to make sure that you are losing both fat and also you're seeing on the scale that you're losing weight. So you keep at it like 1 to 2 weeks, and eventually you hit weight loss plateaus where you have to increase some different parameters, like you are decreasing your calories 100 or 200, then you add another 20 minutes of cardio session, 2,000 steps more, and then you just lose weight and lose weight. But what are you doing when you are actually at the point of you not losing any more weight? Or if you actually achieve your weight loss goals, you have to get into something that's called maintenance calories. But it takes a while before you're getting up to there, because your maintenance calories just way different compared to when you started out. So what you want to do when your metabolism is very slow, you don't want to eat the same calories that you used to before, because you're just going to screw up your metabolism. So you want to gradually increase 100 or 200 calories more. You wait like 1 or 2 weeks so your metabolism is stabilized, and you also decrease the amount of weight training with 1 weight training and also 1 cardio session, 2,000 steps more, and eventually you just hit at the new maintenance calories. You also have to figure that out through a macro calculator. So this is just a way for you to still being able to eat the food that you want by making the meal plans based around foods that you really enjoy. So you're not feeling like you're giving up on everything, like not being able to eat any of the snacks or pizza or the pasta that you really enjoy. The second habit is that, let's imagine that you're coming home from work, you're feeling so stressed, and you suddenly sitting down and you have a desire because you are seeing an ad on the internet that there's something with cheap prices for chips. Then you're thinking that would be nice to have some chips. So eventually you're just thinking, okay, I'm feeling so stressed, so maybe if I just order a bag of chips and maybe a pizza, I just sit at the TV, I'll just eat that. Then you are getting that instant dopamine spike, and you feel like it's very good because you're feeling much more relieved and happy. So this is kind of reward for yourself that you're thinking, okay, that's actually nice, but eventually you keep doing these things over and over again, and you're gaining even more weight. You're at your heaviest weight, it impacts your health. You are not thinking that this is a routine that you've been doing. So what you want to avoid doing is, because you want to not having affect your confidence at work, because you just see that the more weight you're getting, or you are not getting the promotions that you want, you feel like awful, so you are not performing the best that you want, you don't feel good looking at yourself in the mirror. So how do you break free from these habits? What you should be doing is that you are looking at the cues. For example, when you're coming home and you're seeing some of these ads, for example, with the on the computer, you're just typing like not interested to see anymore, and you are, for example, not even having any of the foods at home with chips and something, because if you are someone who just seeing some of these things, it can really derail you from your progress. And you should also not being able to have, you should definitely write in your diary at the end of the day that you, just to be honest, you screwed up. So by you acknowledging that, you associate you eating the chips with bad feelings, because you know that it's going to screw over how you're feeling. It's just making you feel like you are not getting in your own way. So for example, you could drink some light soda instead to get that instant dopamine hit and without the calories, so you're reducing the cravings, so you're not feeling like you are throwing all your hard work in the gym for just eating a whole bag of chips. It is something that's called temptation building. What that basically means is that, let's imagine that you are coming to a restaurant and you are constantly just enjoying eating out, but the problem with that is that you are eating way too much above of your daily calories, because the people who are making the foods, they are not always being evenly putting into how much butter, oil there is. So what you see in MyFitnessPal with how many calories there is in some food is way different compared to what actually is prepared. So what I'm always doing is I make sure that once a week I am going out having a free meal, because your metabolism is in the beginning of your weight loss very good, but after 2 weeks you are decreasing it. So what you can do is that you are rewarding yourself with a free meal. So that basically gives you a lot more calories to work with, like 750 calories that is going to spike up the metabolism by eating that. So it doesn't do you so much harm, because you're actually going to see a good boost in your metabolism by increasing the metabolism with that free meal. So you can, for example, just starting out with not eating the main course, you can eat, for example, if you have 250 grams of protein throughout the day that you need to hit your 45% of your daily calories come from macros. So you're just eating a lot of the protein in the beginning of the day. For example, a shaker with 60 grams of protein, 400 grams of skim milk, 200 grams of lean chicken breast, and then you have some veggies besides, because let's imagine that, and also a couple of eggs. So if you are already in the beginning of your days, you are eating a lot of the foods that you really need, that you're feeling more satiated, and when you're coming to the restaurant, you can eat a salad, for example, with some more chicken on top, because that's going to focusing on you increasing the and hitting your daily protein intake. And then you can eat the, for example, the main course. Let's imagine that you want to have a steak and also some fries and some béarnaise sauce, and that's going to be very good for you, because you already have a bank of calories that you can eat from. Let's imagine that in order to have a 500 calorie deficit, you are eating 1500 calories, and throughout the day you have already eaten 500 calories. Then, for example, you have 1000 calories left at the meal, for example, at 6 o'clock, and then you also have 750 calories from the free meal that you are able to eat, because it basically just helps you be in a calorie surplus so you can lose weight even faster. So it's almost 2000 calories. So just eating the ribeye steak with some fries, béarnaise sauce is not going to do you so much harm. It's going to help you lose weight even faster. So by you just eating some of the foods that you normally don't so fond of, it can make you feel even fuller, and eventually you're just going to eat the steak that you really want and enjoy. So the fourth habit is, let's imagine that you come back from work and you're at home and you feel like you have a lot of cravings, but the problem is that you are sometimes not just thinking about you just taking the bag of chips. So what you should do is that you can always drink for example 500 milliliters of water, because you know that it's going to fill you up, so you are not getting the instant dopamine hit when you are trying to eat the bag of chips. Because when you are trying to eat a bag of chips, you're feeling like you don't have anything that's filling you up. But if you are filling you up yourself with, for example, eating a big meal and then also you're drinking some water, you're feeling less inclined to eating the whole bag of chips because you just don't feel like you have the room for it. So that's always how I'm doing when I'm, for example, feeling like I have a craving for something, that I'm trying to push back the cravings, because it's just not, I don't feel the urge to do it so much. So it's going to help you a lot. When you are trying to lose weight and you lost a lot of weight and you are in a lower body fat percentage, you can definitely feel that the cravings are starting to get more intense. And what you should be doing at that phase is that you want to have a strategic way of implementing what's called free meals or high carb meals. So it doesn't do you so much harm if you like 2 days a week having 2 meals where you are increasing the amount of carbs you're eating with 500 or 600 or 700 calories. Because if you're spreading out throughout the day, for example Tuesday and also Saturday, where you know that you have high carb days and throughout the day you have low carb days, you're going to help yourself with increasing the metabolism, because you feel like the metabolism is working a lot with just being very low, and eventually you're going to spike it up with higher carb days, and then you're going to make your body think, oh, what is going on? So in order to make sure that you are not feeling that you are not seeing the results that you want, you're just pushing your metabolism out of the comfort zone, and then it's just rising back up again. So it's like a yo-yo effect, but it's just funny how the body works by just keep increasing the metabolism, and that's going to be very beneficial. If you're an ambitious professional working a full-time job and you want to lose the weight for good and become the healthiest version of yourself, just like you saw with the transformation of myself, there's a link in the description and also the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me, and we'll see if you're fit to work with me, and we'll just build a game plan together.